Buenos nachos, amigos, and welcome to Record Breakers, a podcast where we share music, the four of us, hanging around, talking about the music we like, the music we're curious about, sharing with each other, sharing and caring all together. I'm PETEY, your man with no plan. Here with me is my team, my squad, my crew. We've got Brett.
Scottie Pippen will remember this.
Yes. We've got Drew.
Sharing, sure. I don't know about all this caring stuff.
Yeah. We've got Patrick.
Bonjour.
Okay. We're here to talk about music, talk about an album. The provider of the album this week is Brett. Brett, what do you got for us this week?
I brought us a children's album. A children's album by They Might Be Giants. This one is Here Comes Science.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Here Comes Science. Right in your faces, right in your face holes. Drew, what expectations did you have coming into this album?
Well, I'm familiar with They Might Be Giants. I may have heard a sciencey children type song that some of them that they did back in the 90s. So I sort of knew their body of work, but I didn't know what they would do with, hey, we're going to make this specifically geared towards children, not, hey, this is a thing we're doing for like a weird cartoon or something like that. So it's like, let's see what they do when it's like, we have to gear this towards children. It's going to be specifically geared towards children. I was sort of interested in seeing that.
Patrick, what were your expectations coming into this album?
I'm someone who enjoys They Might Be Giants, but I haven't really dug into their children's albums. I'll talk more about that why as I review the children's album. But so this was a new album of theirs for me. But it's They Might Be Giants. I think this is the third time they've been on the show, maybe even fourth.
Yeah.
And I was familiar with them long before this.
Yeah, and we certainly it certainly won't be. Hopefully, it won't be the last, and we certainly welcome them at each time. Brett, how would you describe this album musically?
Well, I mean, there's a lot that I enjoy about this album and the way that it's put together. There's a very specific way that they do songwriting. There's a little more care and depth than is needed at all. It's everything is overproduced. Everything stands on a solid hook. Things would be really great as a simple song, but they add a little extra instrumentation. Instead of having a bass guitar, they'll put in a tuba, or they'll also have a tuba, or they'll play, they'll add a crazy bridge to a song and make an okay song a pretty nifty song. They know how to make catchy songs. They know how to make poppy stuff. They also know how to go a little weird. This album's very lighthearted. Obviously, it's a children's album, so you don't expect super deep. And they're also old men now. So whatever hard edge you were going to expect out of these guys, which is funny and this album, it's lighthearted and it's more informative than it needs to be for a children's album as well. It's got a very high production sheen on it as well. A wide range of song types. You get straight up rock tunes, some poppy disco beat driven grooves, some like fingertips-esque short songs. Like it really does check off a lot of the boxes for They Might Be Giants albums if you are familiar with them.
Mm-hmm. Drew, what would be the themes elements that caught your attention?
Well, the great thing about They Might Be Giants, and why I should have never doubted them doing a children's record, is they specifically, like, to me, sit in the realm of catchy earworm songs. Like, a lot of their songs you can just put them on and sing along with. They're just great, catchy sort of tunes like that. And that's what they do. And to make a children's song that's sort of that boiled down as a children's song. Make the lyrics simple, but make the tune really catchy, right? They make the lyrics deeper than you think they'd be. And it works. It's not super deep. I'm not going to say it's going to teach anyone super old much of anything, but for children, this is pretty smart stuff, pretty well done, and the songs are catchy. That's what it does. And yeah, the instrumentation is super weird and super out there at times. It sounds like, if you just took the music, it sounds like a They Might Be Giants record. They didn't kitty or pretty this up. This is still They Might Be Giants doing what They Might Be Giants do. At the same time, it's something that is accessible for younger audiences, and there are younger audiences on it. There is parts of it that are actually funny and made me laugh, which for a children's record I didn't expect, because it's like, well, it's a children's record, it'll be funny for kids, it won't be funny for me. But there was parts where I was like, huh, that's clever.
Yes.
It's weird how they made this thing where it's like, no, I get the appeal, and yet this is still good for children, which usually you think of children's music as being bland and throwaway, and this is actually got depth to it.
Raffi put out some hot bangers. Come on now. Don't make me bring Raffi.
Getting all baby beluga up in this bitch.
That's right.
That banana phone.
Ring, ring.
Ring, banana phone.
Doodle. Yes. Sorry, Drew. I am sorry. I had to bring Raffi up. It's the Hulk rules of this album, so.
But yeah, Patrick, what will be the themes elements that caught your attention?
So you get musically, if you removed all of the lyrics from this would sound like 80% of this album would sound like a They Might Be Giants album. And I mean that as praise. Like, children's music is usually terrible, and this is very unterrible. Like, again, as Brett said, there's lots of interesting instrumentation. You get a lot of, fun sounds that Brett likes. There's many a springy sort of vibe that comes with They Might Be Giants. But for me, and I don't want to be the bitter old man on this, but like, the thing I love about They Might Be Giants is seemingly happy sounding songs with really dark, cutting, biting lyrics. And it's a kids album, so you're not going to get that. But that didn't mean I didn't enjoy some of this record, which we'll get more into, I guess, in the specific tracks. But if I'm grading this as a band that isn't They Might Be Giants, this is pretty damn good. But grading it on the They Might Be Giants curve, it loses the lyrical content that I really like from them, but replaces it with really well thought out things that, like, I imagine that this is, if I were a parent, these would be like the children's albums I was perfectly happy to put on in the minivan. But like, if it's this or Lincoln, I'm going to choose Lincoln every time. So I guess that's where I stand.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a very, very valid point on that regard. Brett, speaking of specific tracks, as we transition over to that segment, let's talk about some of the key tracks.
Well, hey, segment, how's it going? Key tracks. I will do I could probably talk about the weird noises in every single song, but I'm not going to.
High sproing factor and all this.
Yes, we're at peak sproing. Never going back. Meet the Elements is a simple, straight up poppy rock song, but about elements. It's got a strummy guitar, a tuba, some weird noises. Standard They Might Be Giants fare. But the way that this song builds up, and it has an amazing bridge that doesn't need to be in that song at all, but it just really brings it all together. It's exactly what I needed. It betters the song. I really dig Meet the Elements. It is really groovy. Also, a song that is groovy is Roy G. Biv. The beat, the fact that it is a song about color,
Yes.
The bass work on that song is ridiculous. The bass along with the drums and a The Killers-esque synth pad underneath everything is kind of great. Regardless of the lyrics, but the lyrics are kind of fun. And Why Does the Sun Really Shine? Because They Might Be Giants familiar, you are familiar with Why Does the Sun Shine, the old song that they did a cover of. The fact that they made a correction song because New Science is in, and they did it in the not exactly serious manner of well, you just got to listen to it. It's very much not what you would expect. There are some fantastic uses of words. They found their rhymes, even though those rhymes would be difficult. It makes me smile. Music that makes me smile with the way that people ooh, and with the little guitar licks and the bass lines and the quack sound keyboard. If you want to find 3 good songs to listen to, Meet the Elements, Roy G. Biv, and Why Does the Sun Really Shine are a good place to go.
Yeah. The track and the answer track all in one album. It's like in the Bridge is Over and the other one in the same album. Drew, what would be some of the key tracks for you?
For me, I'm a paleontologist.
I am a paleontologist.
1, it's catchy. 2, the bass player's voice is cool. And 3, it's a song about dinosaurs. That's pretty cool. Dinosaur scientists, which is also cool. It's just that. It's just a great little song. We gotta talk about the Why Does the Sun Shine? Why Does the Sun Really Shine combo? Because 1, I don't look at track listings. I usually just put it on, listen to it the first time, and then go back through and try to pick and choose and nitpick things usually. So when all of a sudden I was being told that the sun was a massive incandescent gas, I was very happy that something that I recognized was in here, and was smiling and singing along because I already knew the lyrics. And then the correction instantly coming in and being like, hey, by the way, sometimes you're wrong. That's neat because it's twofold. 1, it's correcting the old science, right? It's letting the correct stuff come through, but also putting it directly afterwards allows it to be like, hey, sometimes we can go back and we can correct things, and that's okay. That's kind of a cool little lesson in and of itself that goes unspoken, but sort of is obviously laid out there. And then, for me, hearing a song about something that I know a little bit about thanks to my engineer father in computer-assisted design is really kind of cool. To me, I think it's neat that this is an album geared towards very small children, and to very early on talk about things like that and sort of get that seed planted, I don't think is a bad idea, because that type of stuff obviously has a lot of play and can be a good living for a lot of folks. As I said, my father is proof of that. Plus, the little girl, Hannah, on the vocals, made me smile a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. As long as it's not kids bop, little kids on vocals, when done well, can make me smile, and that did it for me. So.
Mm-hmm. And also, the song that I was trying to remember is South Bronx. Is the bridge over in South Bronx. The bridge is over in South Bronx. Patrick, what would be some of the key tracks for you?
I'll start out with the opening track someone else did, Science is Real. I think this is unintentionally the ultimate protest song of 2017. I just want the Johns to get together on the lawn of the White House and play this song until Johnny T jumps off the roof. Be perfect. It also just really from a more like, let's talk about this in context. It's a fun introduction that sort of sets out the theme of what this album is about. My Brother the Ape. I like this one. Into personal life, I have a background in education a little bit. So I did take a little bit of that listening to it, and I like how that song, one, I like it musically, but two, I like how they explain evolution in a better way than most high school classes manage to. And it does, and it feels more like a They Might Be Giants song in the way it reveals itself. If you're listening to it, it's very innocuous until like they hit what they're actually talking about. And then the pair of Why Does the Sun Shine and Why Does the Sun Really Shine. So Why Does the Sun Shine, I actually did some Google foo, was a cover song, and is the way, you think the sun works. And then Why Does the Sun Really Shine, a follow-up, which I think maybe intentionally, maybe unintentionally really reflects the way science does things, as we figure something out and then we figure out more about it and we have to, update our knowledge. And I like that they put that in there. I assume that was a tactical decision on either their part, or apparently they had a science consultant for the record, and A+ to them if they're like, this is really great, but actually the sun works this way. And that they wrote a song about it, and I thought that was really fun, and especially as a pair. So like I said, I sort of tried to look at this from the lyrics being like, are they actually talking about science and ideas in a good way? And actually that was kind of what impressed me, I guess, is that like most children's songs seem like most stuff for children seems like a crass cash grab. Like it's just, we're just trying to pump money out of children, where I feel like They Might Be Giants really, at least with this album, and I assume probably is reflected in the other ones, are like, we want to make something that like, we want to put something good out in the world. Like, this isn't probably changing anybody's lives, but like, maybe it is. Maybe it's helping some kids, grow up, learning a little more, a little earlier through the Johns and their clever musics.
Yeah. Yeah, the way they're able to present science in a really fun way that isn't talking down to kids.
And it's also not factually incorrect, which happens with a lot of times when you try to shove science into something other than science class. They usually screw up the details, and they made what appears to be a very concerted effort to not screw up the details, and I appreciate that.
Bananas are terrible phones. Correct.
Yes, exactly.
Hey, they can ring.
My cellular phone. Also, I am a paleontologist is an incredibly catchy song that I want to sing along over and over again too. Also, I really dig photosynthesis. I want to bring that one in there. That one's a nice one. I like that one. It makes me I like photosynthesis, the song and the concept.
Yeah. Would you like to shine some light on that? Oh, never mind. That was a bad joke.
Let's bring it back around the horn to get some conclusive thoughts. Drew, what would be your conclusion on this album?
If you have kids and you don't want to be super annoyed, like say in the car or just when your kids are listening to music, this is definitely something you need to introduce them to, because before a certain age they will probably enjoy it, and it is not horrendous like most children's stuff is. That being said, I'm not going to go back and probably listen to the other ones. And I'm probably not going to listen to this one again, but it's something that if more children's entertainment were this smart, it might be better in the long run.
Mm-hmm. Patrick, what will be your conclusion on this album?
along the lines of what Drew said. Like, if you got kids, this should be in regular rotation for you, and maybe you won't have to let the still be listening to them sing "Let It Go," 2 or 3 years later. It's a really good kids album and a really mediocre They Might Be Giants album, I guess, is the way I would say it. And I don't want to drag it, because it isn't bad at all. It's just, it isn't what I come to They Might Be Giants for. I am not all about the sproing. If you are all about the sproing, it's here. But like, for me, it's the way they mix like seemingly happy songs with sad lyrics or angry lyrics or deeply fucked up lyrics. And this doesn't have it because it's a kid's record, but it's pretty good. So go listen to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's probably not up there in the annals of like They Might Be Giants albums, but it's them elevating something else rather than making something in their lineup. It's them elevating the concept of the children's album close to their level, with the kind of earnest love of it. And they don't. I like it. It's smart. It's clever. It teaches stuff and doesn't talk down to kids. It's probably one of the big reasons why I always liked Blue's Clues. Yeah, he talked at their level, not down to them. Hello, Steve.
Blue Skidoo.
Blue Skidoo,
and all the rest.
Look, sometimes you just got to get down in your thinking chair.
Yeah. And think.
I came this close to singing the male song. I'm not gonna do it. Not gonna do it.
We could go on.
Hey,
we were both way
never,
too old for Blue's
That's
Clues.
Patreon exclusive.
That song
for a
never
non-existent
fails.
Patreon.
Yes. It makes us want to wail. Brett, what would be your conclusion on this album?
This album is fantastic, and everyone should listen to it once. I don't know. Even if you're at all into They Might Be Giants, you'll enjoy this. If you're not into They Might Be Giants, you're probably a bad person, and you probably don't use a turn signal. So I ain't got time for you. Stop listening to record breakers. But no, it's a children's album. Yeah, I mean, They Might Be Giants got a couple Grammys from children's albums, so they kind of know what they're doing. So it might be a good idea to figure out why. And I think this album can show you that when you're making music, you can make music directed at a target audience that isn't going to respect the fact that you have put a really groovy beat and a sick bass line in. But you are making the lives of those who have to listen to that music over and over and over again a little bit better. Because, boy howdy, this was a well put together album. And I would not be, in a podcast with other people who don't have children, we will tell you it is the best children's album to play for your children.
No one here has procreated.
That we know of.
Yeah.
There we go. But yeah, it's all right. Give it a try.
Yes, it won't hurt. Yeah. Yeah, They Might Be Giants. Here comes science. In the meantime, here comes our main event, our haiku reviews. Not yet brought to you by any sponsors.
It's the Pepsi 400
brought
powered
to you by
Pepsi.
the letter C and the number 7.
And the Whip-O-Matic 4000 being kickstarted right now. Go check the Kickstarter for the new synergistic way to whip your eggs. Use that coupon code.
Use coupon code BREAKER.
Record whippers.
Beat the line. Can join the exclusive club for men
that want to whip it. Because like Evo said, if a problem comes along, you must whip it. With the new Whip-O-Matic. Stole that from Gilmore Girls. Let's move on to the haiku reviews. To our haikus. Let's sum it all up. Let's oversimplify and have some fun.
in poetic form.
Yes, poetic form.
I don't know if we're much poets at this point. All right.
We don't know it.
We can give it a shot.
Yes. Drew, let's start with you. What is your haiku?
Educational. not going to be on loop. Glad it exists.
Mm-hmm. Patrick, what is your haiku?
Some TMBG. Way above par for kids' songs. Lacks some wit and bite.
Mm-hmm. Wit, fun, and science, driven by great music skill, and earnest passion. Brett, what is your haiku?
It's children's music. They may very well be giants. It's enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
Deep art there. It's like Barks. It's good.
It's good. It works for me. Or Sprint. It works for me. It's literally their tagline. Works for me. But yeah, those are our haikus. Those sum it up all for us. Brings us to the end of another episode. Of course, you can catch this album. You can listen to this album on our Spotify playlist. Play Record Breakers. It's the home game. Play along at home. Do your homework. On that Spotify playlist will be next week's record, and that is brought to us by Drew. Drew, what do you got for us next week?
So I found this guy sort of by chance, listening to just a random stream of instrumental music, and ended up really enjoying his stuff. And I kind of wanted to see what you guys would think, because it's sort of out of left field for me. It's a instrumental hip hop out of Japan. Does have some features, but Japan. It's a Compass from DJ Okawari.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be a very interesting discussion. Look forward to that next week. But that is next week, and this is this week. And you can, of course, find us all over the internet. Patrick is at The Swagger. Brett is at HIBBARD, HIBBITYBIBBARD. Drew is at XDruciferX. I'm at PETEY RAVE. The show is at 4 Record Breakers. That's the number 4 Record Breakers. RecordBreakersPodcast.com. RecordBreakersPodcast@gmail.com. Rebelli TV on YouTube and other places. Rebelli.net for this and other shows. Like, share, subscribe, do all the things. Until next time. Hasta los huevos.
Toodaloo. I gotta pee.
It comes out
Hurry.
of my bladder.
Hurry up.
It is the collected liquid waste in my body. And it comes out my pee-pee. I made a children's song about pee.
You did.